This was supposed to be the match that gave us Mbappe against Holland, two of the most dangerous forwards on the planet, on the same pitch, at the World Cup, with the group on the line. Every pundit had circled this one, every fan had set their alarm. And then something happened that made the entire footballing world stop and rethink what they thought they knew about this French team. Because it was not Mbappe who tore Norway apart. It was not the captain. It was not even the man everyone expected off the bench. It was Ousmane Dembélé. And what he did in that first half in Boston was not just impressive, it was historic. 3 goals, 25 minutes, the second fastest hat trick in the entire history of the World Cup. And what makes it terrifying for the rest of this tournament is not the goals themselves, it's what those goals tell you about a team that might genuinely be impossible to stop. But before we get to the goals, you need to understand the context. Because what happened in Boston was not just a football match, it was something much more emotional than that. On the morning of the game, France found out that their head coach, Deschamps, would not be on the sideline. He'd flown back to France to attend his mother's funeral. The man who has led this team for 14 years, who is stepping down after this World Cup, was not there. His assistant Guy Stéphane took charge instead, and the players made a promise. They were going to win this match for him. Stéphane said after the game that the team's thoughts were with Deschamps and that they could not wait to have him back. But the way France played, the intensity they brought from the very first whistle, that was not just football. That was personal. Now on the other side, Norway made a decision that changed the entire complexion of this game. Ståle Solbakken, knowing his team had already qualified after beating Iraq and Senegal, made 10 changes to his starting lineup. 10. Erling Haaland sat on the bench. Martin Ødegaard sat on the bench. Alexander Sørloth sat on the bench. Fredrik Arsnes was the only player retained from the Senegal win. Norway were essentially saying they did not need to win this match, they were content with second place. And that's completely fair from a tactical standpoint. You protect your key players for the knockout rounds. You avoid unnecessary injuries. But it meant that when France came out with Mbappe, Dembele, Olise, and Doué all in the starting 11, this was never going to be a fair fight. France knew exactly what they wanted. They wanted to finish top of Group 1. They wanted the easier travel route through the knockout rounds, staying on the East Coast instead of flying across the continent. And they wanted to send a message. Within 20 seconds, Mbappe smashed an angled shot off the crossbar. 20 seconds. That's how hungry this team was. And what came next was something nobody could have predicted. 7 minutes in, Mbappe picks up the ball and sweeps a glorious crossfield pass out to the right. The kind of pass that only a handful of players on this planet can even attempt. Dembele receives it, cuts inside, drops a shoulder, goes back onto his right foot, and fires an angled shot across goalkeeper Egil Selvik and into the net. 1-0. At this point, most people thought this was going to be the Mbappe show. He created the goal. He was pulling the strings. Classic Mbappe performance. But Dembele had other plans. 13 minutes later, the 20th minute, Mbappe feeds Dembele again. And this time, the Paris Saint-Germain forward gains a yard of space against his marker, shifts onto his left foot, and curls a dipping shot into the far corner. 2-0. The way he struck that ball was not the Dembele people remember from 3 or 4 years ago. Back then, he was electric but inconsistent. Brilliant one moment, wasteful the next. This was a completely different player. This was the Ballon d'Or winner. The man Luis Enrique transformed by moving him from the wing into a central role at PSG. That positional shift unlocked something in Dembele that had always been there but never quite came together consistently, and that transformation was on full display in Boston. Now Norway actually pulled one back almost immediately. Thalo Asgard, the Rangers midfielder, struck a low shot past Mike Maignan right from the restart. The French defense switched off for a moment, and suddenly it was 2-1. For about 30 seconds, you could feel the energy shift. Maybe Norway had something here. Maybe the second string could make this interesting. Maybe France had gotten too comfortable too quickly. That thought lasted exactly 11 minutes. In the 32nd minute, Dembele curled another shot on his left foot into the exact same bottom corner. Almost a carbon copy of his second goal. 3-1. Hat trick complete. 25 minutes from the first goal to the third. The second fastest hat trick in the entire history of the FIFA World Cup. The only player to complete one earlier was Erik Probst, who scored 3 inside 24 minutes for Austria against Czechoslovakia in 1954. That's the kind of company Dembele just put himself in, and he became only the third Frenchman ever to score a World Cup hat trick, after Just Fontaine, who did it twice in 1958, and Mbappe, who netted 3 in the 2022 final against Argentina. 3 goals. All 3 on target. all three with the kind of finishing you expect from someone who has genuinely reached the peak of world football. He scored with every single shot he took in the match. And he did it all before halftime. This is where we need to talk about what actually makes France impossible to beat at this tournament. Because the Dembele hat trick is incredible on its own, but what it really exposed is a problem that every remaining team in this World Cup is going to have to face. And that problem is simple. You cannot plan for this team. Think about it. Every other nation at this tournament has a clear structure. You know where the danger comes from. With Argentina, it's Messi. With Brazil, it's Vinicius. With England, it's their midfield control. You can build a game plan around neutralizing one or two key threats. But France? Where do you even start? Mbappe did not score in this match. He hit the bar inside 20 seconds. He created the first goal with a pass that most players on this planet cannot even see, let alone execute, and he still did not find the net. It did not matter, because Dembele scored 3. Then Doué came off the bench and headed in a fourth from a Bradley Barcola cross in stoppage time. And Olise was causing chaos all game, drifting into pockets of space and creating problems that Norway's reserves simply could not deal with. That's 5 genuine world-class attacking options, any one of whom could be the best player on the pitch on any given night. Someone described watching this French attack as walking into a store in America and being overwhelmed by the sheer abundance of choice. That's exactly what it feels like. If you double up on Mbappe, Dembele burns you. If you focus on Dembele, Olise finds space. If you try to contain all three, Doué or Barcola will punish you off the bench. There is no tactical solution that covers all of it. You can pick your poison, but you're still drinking poison. And this is not an accident. This is the result of decades of investment in French football infrastructure, facilities in every part of the country, academies producing generational talent at a rate no other nation can match, immigrant communities adding depth and hunger and technical diversity to every age group. France are not just a good team with good players. They're a system that produces more elite attackers than they know what to do with. And that system is peaking at exactly the right moment. Now here's where the numbers start to paint a picture that should genuinely worry every team left in this bracket. France have finished the group stage with 9 points from 3 matches. 3 wins, 3 clean performances, 10 goals scored. They've won all 3 group games at a World Cup for only the second time in their entire history. Let that sink in. A country that has been to multiple World Cup finals, that has won the tournament twice, has almost never gone through a group stage this cleanly. And the way they've done it tells you everything. 3-0 against Iraq in the opener, 3-1 against Senegal in a match where they controlled the tempo from start to finish, 4-1 against Norway, with a performance that announced them as the tournament favorites. Each match, they've found different scorers. Each match, they've looked more dangerous than the last. The progression has been relentless. Here's the stat that makes it even more frightening. In this match against Norway, France actually had a lower expected goals than their opponent. Norway's XG was 1.69, France's was 1.31, yet France won 4-1. That gap between what the numbers say should have happened and what actually happened is the difference between a good team and a lethal one. France don't need 20 chances, they need 4, and they will bury every single one of them. That kind of clinical efficiency is not something you can coach overnight. It comes from having attackers who have been finishing at the highest level in the Champions League and in the biggest league matches for years, and now they're doing it on the World Cup stage. Norway even had a chance to make the second half interesting. Oscar Bob was tripped in the box by Hernandez early in the second half, and the referee pointed to the spot. A goal there would have made it 3-2, and with the crowd behind them, Norway could have built some real momentum, but Jurgen Strand Larsen stepped up and hit a soft, tame penalty straight at Maignan. The goalkeeper barely had to move. That moment captured the entire story of this match. Norway had opportunities, they had moments, but when it came to taking them, they could not deliver. France, on the other hand, were clinical in a way that borders on ruthless. Maxence Lacroix, the Crystal Palace defender who started in place of William Saliba, summed it up after the match. He said the emotions were overwhelming. He said the team played brilliantly and finished top of the group. But then, he said something that should make every opponent pay attention. He said the journey is not over. He said they want to dream big. And he said they know they're a team that can score at any moment of any match. That's not arrogance. That's a statement of fact based on what we've just watched across 3 group stage matches. So what happens now? France stay on the East Coast. They head to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey for a round of 32 match against a third-place qualifier next Tuesday. Deschamps is expected back with the squad on Saturday. The man who missed this match because of something far bigger than football will be back in the dugout for the knockout rounds. And when he walks back into that dressing room, he's going to find a team that just delivered the most complete group stage performance France have produced in decades. A team that did not need him on the sideline to demolish an opponent. A team that played with purpose, with emotion, and with the kind of attacking firepower that no other nation in this tournament can match. That's the thing that should keep every manager up at night. Norway rested their best players and got punished. But even if Haaland and Odegaard had played, would it have mattered? France were not just better than Norway's reserves, they were operating on a completely different level. Mbappe is chasing Messi's all-time World Cup goal record of 18, and he's winning his 101st cap in the process. Dembele just announced himself as the tournament's most in-form attacker with 4 goals in 2 matches. Olise, Barcola, and Doué are all ready to contribute off the bench or from the start, depending on what the game demands. And behind all of them is a defense anchored by Maignan, who saved a penalty in this match without breaking a sweat. This is a team with no weak link. This is a team with no single point of failure. You shut down one weapon and 2 more appear. You think you have a plan, and then someone like Dembele scores 3 goals in 25 minutes, and your entire strategy is in the bin. Every team left in this World Cup just watched what happened in Boston. Every coach is going back to the drawing board trying to figure out how to contain this squad. And the honest answer is that most of them cannot. France just showed why they're impossible to beat at this World Cup. And the scariest part? They're only getting started.